Hello and welcome to another video tutorial on programming. This is my solution to the review 2. So obviously we have the main method here, and this is where we call all our different methods, and then we've got some variables in here, but we'll talk about those after we talk about the different bunches of code. So the first thing I did was I made a public static void, and I called it introduction with a capital I, bracket, bracket. You've got your curly brackets, and all we did was some console.writelines just to tell you what the program was about. That's super simple. This is its own separate method with no parameters and no return type because it says void on it. Then I made a public static double. So this has a return type. Very important to know that. It doesn't say void, it says double. So the return is going to be a double. So we've got double coefficient, so that's a variable. Then what I do is I ask the user for some input. So all of these next ones are going to be asking the user for some input. And we've got coefficient is equal to convert to double, and then it's console.readline. So whatever the user puts in is going to go into this, and then we're going to return that coefficient. Now we do the exact same thing for the exponent. So what exponent are you going to use in that binomial? This was for the coefficient. Then we're going to do it for the exponent. So to what degree is that term? Is it going to be x squared, x cubed, x to the fourth, and so on. And then we've got our constant. So we're going to do the exact same thing. Console.writeline, what is the constant? And then we're going to convert to double. Console.readline, convert it to a double and put it into here, and we're going to return that. Do it again for our final input. So in other words, how many terms? When I've been using examples, I've been showing 100 terms. So I've been pushing 100 into that. Then we've got to process our input. You're going to notice that this doesn't say final term, it says underscore final term. So where am I getting that from as a parameter for this one? So let's go back up to the top and let's see what I did in the main method for all of these. Okay, so I said double coefficient is equal to the method. So I'm calling the method and putting it into coefficient. And I'm calling the exponent here, the input, so exponent input method, and I'm pushing it into a variable called exponent, but a capital E. Doing the same thing for all of these, and I'm going to be using these in my process input. So here, I'm using these are the parameters by which I'm going to run this. So let's now head down over to my process input, and we're calling it double underscore final term, double underscore coefficient, double exponent. And again, these are separate methods, so we're naming them slightly different ways, and this is kind of a standard thing to do in this way. And I've got a double value and double sum equals 0. Now the value is the value of each time the loop is run. So if we've got 2x squared plus 1, the first time the value is going to be 2 times 1 squared, which is 2, plus 1 is 3. So that would be my answer for the first time, 3 for that. But we're also keeping track of the first value, and then the second value, and the third value, and the fourth value, up until our final term, which when I've been using it as an example, it's been 100. So how do we do that? So we're running a for loop, starting off with 1, and we're using I minus 1 is less than underscore final term, and we're incrementing it by 1 each time. The value is equal to the underscore coefficient times math.pow. So this is where we're putting the exponent in. So the coefficient times the square value of the x, square if we did it to the power of 2 or 3 or 4 or whatever, and then plus your constant. So that's easy enough, and each time I changes. So the first time it's 1, the second time it's 2, the third time it's 3, and you'll go up to the final term, which we have been running till 100. Then we're going to say the sum that started off with 0 is equal to the sum plus the value. And each time that updates. And then we do a console.write line. We write out I, so I say for variable 1, the value is this. And then the next time it goes, for variable 2, the value is this. And for variable 3, the value is this. And the whole time, this variable is updating, and we're not printing it out until this loop ends, and then we're going to write out the sum of the series. So let's see it in action. So what is the coefficient? So we've been doing 5. My exponent has been 4 is what we've been doing. And the constant has been minus 27 in my examples. And the first variable is 1, and we're going to run it to 100 again. And somehow, I said 10 accidentally. So this is what it would be if it was 10. I missed on the keyboard. I did 10 instead of 100. So this is my solution. It is very possible you could do it. You'll notice that I used a bunch of return type methods, and I used a method that uses parameters. And then I called them all in the main method, as well as I had to set up variables in the main method because we don't necessarily have access from one method to another, the variables. So I could have, in a lot of these situations, named them the same. Anyways, that is my solution. Thanks for watching.